Patterson here with Boomerocity, and for this episode, I'm I'm very excited about this for more than just the obvious reason, because not only do I get to introduce you to an amazing new up and coming guitarist, but this guy's story by itself is amazing. Probably, I would say, as amazing as his talent. And what I mean by that is, first of all, you'll want to go out and look at Alex Kilroy's work on YouTube. Listen to this new album of his called Break My Chains. All of that would give you a backdrop and a reason to want to hear more about this guy, because his personal story is nothing short but amazing and remarkable. He's from Romania, and I'll just say this. He tells a story about when he was a kid and he told his mom that he was only visiting Romania. Now, if that's not a hook to get you to want to listen to more, I don't think there's any hope for you. But this guy, his story will wake us Native Americans up. And what I mean by Native Americans, not only Native Americans who are indigenous to this landmass here that we call America, but us native-born citizens who take this country for granted. And I have to admit, sometimes I do. But Alex's story is incredible. I really do hope you listen to the entire thing. We talk about his musical influences, which I think you'll relate to. And I think you'll become an instant, immediate, long-term fan of Alex, just like I have become. So while you're listening to it, as I always ask, please hit like if you're enjoying what you're hearing. If you're enjoying all the interviews or a lot of the interviews you see here on Boomerocity, please hit subscribe. It's not going to cost you anything. And by all means, please do share this and other interviews, especially this one if you have friends from other countries that might want to relate to something that Alex has said. So without any further ado, here is my first of what I hope are many, many more interviews with the amazing Alex Kilroy. Until next time, this is Randy Patterson with Boomerocity. Take care. Hello, Alex.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. You didn't tell me you're going to be dialing in from a museum. I love the car.
Thank you. This is our little our little rehearsal space.
Ah, cool. All right,
Yeah.
is it part of your house or is it somewhere else?
It's somewhere else. It's a warehouse where we keep the cars and the guitars.
All right. Is the car yours?
No, it's in the family. It's my father-in-law.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So where are you at? You're down in Orlando, correct?
Orlando, yes.
Very, very good. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I love your sound, and gosh, I've been looking forward to talking to you, and I'm going to get ahead of myself purposely, but I just saw your post this morning that none other than Joe Bonamassa's got your song on his playlist, man. How cool is that?
I'm beside myself. I had to pinch myself yesterday. I was driving and I'm like, let me check my stats, right?
Uh-huh.
So I looked at my thing, and there were some listens, and all of a sudden the song went, and I'm like, I wonder what happened. So then I looked at the playlist, and it was cutting edge blues and ultimate blues rock. Joe Bonamassa added it to his playlist, and I'm really honored and really excited.
Wow. I wonder if he's going to have it on his radio program on Sirius XM, or is that tied together?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know
waiting
either.
patiently.
Wow, that is so cool. Congratulations on that, man.
Thank you.
What an achievement there. I'm a huge Bonamassa fan. I just saw him here I'm up in the Smoky Mountains, or as the Beatles said, the Smoky Mountains way down south. And I'm near Knoxville, so Joe was here. That's probably like the 8th time I've seen him in concert.
Oh, he's
So,
incredible.
he never puts on a bad show. I've never walked away disappointed ever, and I've been following him for, I don't know, 13, 14 years now, maybe a little bit more. But anyway, so man, I'm so thrilled to be doing this.
Me too.
I've got
Thank you
to.
for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. I've got to ask you, man. One of the riveting things I caught in reading up on you is, you know, here you are in Romania, which I'll stop right there and say when I grew up in Phoenix and in my early adulthood, the church I went to, we shared a outbuilding facility, which was the original church,
Hmm.
with the Romanian congregation. So they would
Oh
have church
wow.
over there. But the one thing I found interesting is whenever they would have a church business meeting, if they couldn't get anything resolved by debate, they went outside and just had a big old fist fight, and then whoever was left standing, that's the way it went. I was like, I don't like that way of doing it.
Oh
Let's
my
go
God.
pray or something.
Wow. Well, yes, I guess there's some fire in Romanians, I guess.
Yeah, just a little passionate there. But man, that whole congregation, man, they were all bakers and cooks and stuff. And whenever we'd have a big, you know, multi church gathering, for potlucks and stuff. Oh my gosh, the cakes and the pastries and oh lordy, it was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Incredible.
Great people
Yeah.
there. But reading about you though, and seeing when you were growing up, and you had the American flag over your bed in Romania,
Yeah.
and you told your mom that you're just visiting Romania. I mean that. I mean that has had to hit a lot of people pretty heavily when they hear that. Tell people that story and what's been the response from people when they hear that about you.
Well, people are interested in like how do you have that feeling at that age? I mean, I'm like thinking outside the box, but I'm like reincarnation, like where you live multiple lives, right? Like that
Mm-hmm.
could be, I don't know. But I remember I was 6 years old and I was watching a lot of movies. I love movies, and the video games were just coming in. All the movies, video games, and everything were taking place in the United States, and I just had this long and I had this homesickness in a way. I'm like, I gotta get there. I want to see it. I miss it in a way. Very interesting. That was even before I started playing guitar, playing the blues. But and that happened around 12, 13. But when I did, I'm like, okay, I wanna I wanna go play the blues and I wanna be in America and do it where it all started.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much how I started. And yes, I told my mom when I was 6 years old, I asked for a flag and I had it, and it just made that flag just made me happy and gave me direction. So
Wow.
the
Well, I mean, that just still floors me because I'm a natural born citizen here, and
yeah,
my experience has been being in different sales roles and stuff, and I've dealt with all sorts of cultures, Asian and European and Middle Eastern and Far Eastern and all that. And I really do think that despite maybe some of what we see on the news and such, that people who immigrate here who really want to be here and who really love this country like you clearly do, I sometimes think they could just teach us natural born ones a lesson. I think you guys really could. And I mean, because they see all this opportunity, they see the heritage, they see the legacy, and you guys just glob onto it. And then, homies like me, we just like, oh, what's next, And so, it's inspiring. It really is. I'm not saying that to patronize you. It
yeah.
honestly is inspiring to see somebody like you that just take the bull by the horns and make things happen. And that's the true American spirit and what made us great. And I
Yeah.
think you guys are going to have to teach us a lesson here. So when you
Well,
look back on all that now, does it feel surreal to you that you're actually living that dream here in the United States today?
it's yes and no. It's because as a child, I visualized a lot of the things that are happening now. Like I always
Mm-hmm.
had this dream, this vision, and I remember before going to bed, I would just like visualize playing in America, being on the stage, having my record out. It took a pretty long time from since I was 13, 14 to now to actually get it done. So it's a lot of patience involved and a lot of work in. but I never lose the sight. So
Hmm.
so now when it's almost like, oh my god, I cannot believe it's happening, and it's like the album is out, but at the same time I'm like, I also worked a lot for it, so it better be. You know what I'm
Yeah, it's one thing
saying?
to visualize, but I mean, I mentioned church earlier. The Bible says that faith without works is dead. You could dream all you want, but if you're not going to put any action behind it, it's not going to, it's not going to go
Yeah,
very far.
no, it's a combination of both, of having the goal and then working towards it. I
Hmm.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was a big influence. Just like listening, he's from Austria, so it's a neighboring country,
Hmm.
and he has a, that I kind of identified with his story a little bit, coming to America and just working, working, working. And he said, you cannot, what he said, well, you cannot climb the ladder with your hands in your pocket. So
That's
you
right.
got to you got to get to work. But that's what I really loved about the United States. It's that it's a country that awards hard work. Like
Yeah.
if you really want it, you'll get it. So
Hmm.
it's as simple as that.
I agree. How much of that early vision has A, materialized, and B, still drives you as an artist today?
Well, the vision of, I mean, I remember I said that one thing I remember as a kid, I said if I would be in the United States, I would never had a sad day, and I did have sad days in America, but I always remember that child, and that all instantaneously makes me happy. So
Hmm.
and I dreamed about the album. I dreamed about having the band and playing and touring, and a lot of that happened. And there's other dreams in my head and visions of taking my music forward and collaborating with some amazing artists that really influenced my childhood, and those are all there. So I'm working towards those goals. So
Very
one day
cool.
at a time, one step at a time. So it's
There you
all
go.
happening. So I'm very grateful that I'm blessed like that.
Very cool. I When I launched Boomerocity, I was in Dallas, Texas, but long before I launched it, um, believe it or not, and you know where I'm going to go with this when I mention
Mm.
this, I actually was at Stevie Ray Vaughan's graveside service when he passed.
Oh
I,
wow.
I was actually there, and my daughter was 4 or 5 at the time, and we went there. I had the day off, and we showed up, and there was, Jimmy and the family, and I've interviewed Jimmy several times.
Wow.
ZZ Top was there, Jackson Brown, Bonnie Raitt, Stevie Wonder. We walked up when Bonnie Raitt, Stevie Wonder, and Jackson Brown were singing "Amazing Grace." I mean, just incredible, incredible,
That's
moving experience.
yes.
But but you were very heavily influenced by Stevie Ray Vaughan, and
Yes.
you were moved by the Live at Montreux album. And you described it as a freedom, a freedom
Yeah.
that you saw there. Describe that to people, exactly how that felt to you, what that meant. Give us the whole background on that.
Well, at the time I was in school learning classical piano, and I had a very exigent teacher. She was a lot. She demanded a lot out of me, and I had no joy out of playing music. Like I was just playing the piano with tears in my eyes, like a kid. Like I really didn't want to do that. So for me, music and joy was not were not associated in any way.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I saw that video, I'm like, why is this guy having so much fun? What's happening here? Like he's all sweaty, he's playing his guitar, he looks cool, like not in a tuxedo, he's just so cool, right? With a hat, the beard, breaking up for me, like such a rebel coming from the classical world. So that really inspired me. I'm like, oh, I think you can have fun playing music. Let me try that guitar, so then I told my parents I'd love to play guitar, and they were a little bit like, maybe you keep with the piano. Well, it was summer when that happened, so he's like, you have 3 months, you don't need to practice piano. And I'm like, can I play guitar? My dad had an old guitar, but then soon after, he felt that something's happening, so he bought himself a Fender Stratocaster, but he gave it to me soon after. So I I started playing, and it's like, my parents would be like, "Alex, did you practice piano?" And I'd be like, "I really don't want to." They're like, "Well, it's you got 2 hours, otherwise you cannot watch TV," or was something in exchange for the practicing. But when the guitar and Stevie Ray Vaughan, I started playing the guitar, watching those videos and trying to emulate what he was doing. And my mom would be like, "Wow, it's been what, 6 hours and he didn't get out of his room. Like something's happening with Alex. He's really." That was everything I was doing, and I was getting really, really um, really, really happy, and really like that freedom thing. And also when I started playing out a little bit and bringing my friends in the house, is like, "Let me show you something." They were really like, "Wow, that's so cool." And so I started getting recognition from my peers a little bit for
Hmm.
what I was doing, where when I was playing piano, like really nobody cared. So um it was a whole thing, the whole package of being happy and finding a direction in life. Like for me, there was such a saving moment, because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I really didn't. I knew I didn't want to play piano, and I was pretty
Hmm.
good at school, but I didn't have like, "Hey, I want to be this or that." But then it happened. I'm like, "I want to be a guitar player." Stevie influenced me. I love the United States. And everybody was telling me, it's like, that's where the blues originated. It's very hard to get accepted in the United States. As a, like, if you're not from the Mississippi Delta, you cannot play the blues. And I'm like, I don't like that idea. I'm like, if I'm just gonna listen to it, and I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna play, I'll put my heart into it. And then I got here, and people were very, very accepting and very friendly, and I got to go to Nashville and play and do the whole thing. So that's what I felt, and that's what inspired me and drove me, and still
I
drives
read
me.
that I read that you said that you could feel what he was feeling. What that first of all, that's a very powerful statement, very empathetic, where you can
Yeah.
feel someone else's feelings. What was it about his playing that hit you so deeply? What was it that thought you were feeling from him?
Well, it was I felt a sense of joy, and it's like it just clicked with me. It almost like, I'm like, if I would close my eyes, I think I could see what he saw, or like where I put
Mm.
myself in his shoes, and I'm like playing guitar in front of so many people, and with that, just that happiness and that energy, that just like through that video, it got into me, and I felt it in such a way. It was just joy. It was just somebody that's having a lot of fun doing something, and I want to have that much fun. So
It's
that's
funny you say that because a couple things. Over the weekend, my fiance and I watched the Elvis movie Epic for the second time,
yeah,
and then after that, last night she lives out of town, so she was gone by last night. And after I got done working here in the studio, I went home and I watched um, a a Beatles documentary called 8 Days a Week, and but the one thing that struck me about both of those people, and you're hitting on it, is they talked about having fun doing what they're doing, taking it serious, taking their craft serious, but having fun with it. And it doesn't seem, I don't know, if people are having fun playing music these days, it doesn't always show. And maybe
hmm
because they're locked into a compressed time frame or something, I don't know. But to watch those guys when they were young, having fun, horsing around, but creating legendary music, and then
music.
watching Elvis, who I'm so old that I got to see Elvis in concert. His was my first concert I ever went to, and
Wow.
that's how old I am, Alex. So,
I cannot tell.
well, thank you. But having fun, because fans want to have fun too. And
Yeah.
I think we feel that when you guys are on stage and enjoying yourself, it kind of brings the crowd in. Has that been your
Yeah.
experience so far?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of the reason I mean, I'm doing what I'm doing because it's a lot of fun, and I like when that happens with the crowd, and we all get into this. It's a good vibe. It's an exchange of energy, and it's good energy, and it's good
Mm.
vibration. And I think that's what it's all about, having fun. And when you write, you can, I mean, like, the way I'm seeing it, when you have fun and you relax, that's when you can also channel music. I feel like my ideology about like how music works, I feel like all the songs that will ever be, they're already out there in the ether. So
Mm-hmm.
when you let it come through you, it just will, it's like a gift. So then
Mm-hmm.
you become the receiver and you just write it down. So in
Understand.
order to do that, I think you have to come from a place of love. I mean, people write when they're upset, but that's love is it's a very wide spectrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
So so having fun, I think it's the most. Then why do it if you don't have fun?
That's right. I mean, if you're not enjoying, there's too many people working at jobs they hate, man. We need to have more people doing jobs they love, you know.
Yeah,
But now, I also read that you had to learn three Stevie Ray songs in order to
that's
be
right.
able to switch. That reminds me, my parents, in order to buy me a guitar, which I never did get very far with it, they said if I would learn one song all the way through, they'd buy me a guitar. And I did. I learned Proud Mary on the guitar.
Yeah.
And so they bought it. I still have that guitar. I still play like crap, but I still have the guitar. It means more to me sentimentally than it does musically, believe me. But so it's just I related to you when I read that about you. What did that challenge? I mean, to me, Proud Mary's easy. Three Stevie Ray songs and you nailed them. What did that challenge unlock in you? What was it about that is just like it's like made you all in and just go for that
I
golden ring, so to speak.
I th- I think, well, when I think one is to make your dad proud, right? You wanted to get that from dad, and my dad set the bar. I think they really didn't want me to switch from piano to guitar. So it's like I'm gonna ask him to do something extraordinary because he might not do it and we just keep on with the piano, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
took it. It's like, man, he's really going for it. I think one was that I really didn't have joy playing piano, and I'm like, this is talking about break my chains. That's how I'm breaking my chains from the classical piano. If I can play these three songs, my life will change. So I got to get them down, so I was very, very, very serious about it, but also I had so much fun because I'm like recording myself as I'm going along, and I'm like, wow, this sounds closer and closer and closer, and I was getting closer, and every day
Mm-hmm.
was a little bit like a new challenge. Let's see if I can get to the second part of the song, so it was just an incredible summer for me, and
Now
that's
you
what motivated me.
so I mean back in my day, as us old timers say, he had the record, the album, and you'd move the needle. That's how Keith Richards learned, and everybody else. You probably didn't have a vinyl record to learn that. What did you do?
No,
Watch?
you
Did you have to figure
YouTube.
out what their tunings were? All that kind of stuff. I mean, how did you do
Well,
that?
it was YouTube. I was lucky enough to be
Ah,
in the generation that had YouTube, and also they were at that point. I don't remember the name of the company, but they were doing like you buy the tabs with a CD, and they show you how to
oh
play it,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
get the tabs, right? So I learned about with the tabs a lot. And again, my father, I remember him saying like the tab is wrong, and I'm like, no, it's how can you say that? It's like it's not wrong. Look, it's like no, it's like there's a note missing. I'm like, no, it's not. He's like, go listen to the thing and slow it down. There's because my father, when he taught himself, it was with tapes, like you say, like that,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
records or tapes, or like so I did slow it down, and there was a little thrill there that was not on the in Scout button, which was very interesting. So
Ah,
yeah, my father had very good
good
ears.
ear.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's how I learned YouTube. A lot of YouTube, and then a lot of course, after my parents realized that I like Stevie, they got me the CDs and the albums, and every ride to school or anywhere for that matter was Stevie Ray Vaughan was playing. So my parents loved him very much as well. So
I can see
yeah,
why. Now, your
yeah.
father told you can't be the next Stevie Ray Vaughan. He already did that. That was a very wise thing for your dad to say. When did you truly start to discover your own voice as you were learning the Stevie style of playing and all that?
Well, my dad put together a band. after I learned those songs, he's like, now you got the three songs. Learn more songs. Get around
Mm.
45 minutes set. I'll put a band together. So we did put a band together, and we did a tribute for Stevie Ray Vaughan in Romania, which
Ah.
was went great. We got the bolero hat with the conchos, the whole thing. So we did like a tour even in Europe. It was prodigy, new young kids playing that way. They're awesome, and especially in that part of the world. So we were very well received. But then after we did that whole thing, my dad said, "Okay, it's time for you to listen to other music too." It's like we love Stevie, but you gotta become yourself. So by doing that, you gotta broaden your
Hmm.
spectrum. So then the next artist I landed on was Sting,
Ah, yeah.
and I love Sting, and it was incredible. And then some country music and Alan Jackson and Vince Gill. So I started listening to way more music, even Romanian music. Diego El Cigala, which is a Latin Spanish artist. So I'm started
Hmm.
listening to a lot of music and being like, wow, there's a lot out there. So the way the way you do your style, you learn that, you put it all together somehow in it meshes up in yourself, and then something original comes out, because we're all different. So you just have to listen to yourself. And that's around probably 16, 17 is when I started listening to Eric Clapton, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of styles here. BB King, there's a lot of them. Then of course Joe Bonamassa, Eric Gales, and so on, as I was growing
Hmm.
older and older. So I'm like, wow, there's a lot out there. So and my father's always like, the way you do it, you just pick and choose um what you like. And before you
Yep.
know it, you have a toolbox full of things you like, and it's very personalized. So then
Very
that
cool.
becomes you.
So, was there a moment where you consciously broke away from being a blues student to becoming an artist with your own identity?
I think the moment really became when I started writing these songs. I mean, like, and maybe even before, because I played in Nashville, and in Nashville, I was there for 6 years, and doing
Hmm.
Broadway, like in Nashville, that was a
Yeah.
lot of work, and there was a lot of music to learn. So that I kind of lost my identity in playing everything from Backstreet Boys to Alan Jackson to like Green Day, like what was it? Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh, Guns N'
Guns N'
Roses. Yeah.
Roses, right? So
Yeah.
I went through so many. It's such a versatility that I had to build while living in Nashville to make a living, and I kind of
Hmm.
lost my. I didn't know where I'm going really. I'm like, wow, it's too much. So I did the International Blues Challenge. I think that's where it started. And I'm
Mm.
like, I want to write my own music. So during that time, 2023, I think it's when really everything started to click. And I went to
Nice.
the International Blues Challenge, and they turned me around for not being blues enough. So I'm like, okay, that's a sign. Like, what does that mean? Because I want to take the blues and put a little spin on it. And the purists didn't really like it. But then the next year in 2024, I I'm like, let me write some songs that are very bluesy. And they accepted it. But we went all the way to Memphis, and then we lost in the same semifinals again. It was not bluesy enough. So, but then by doing all the international challenge and having to write songs, I realized, one, the way I'm writing songs, I got to make myself write songs. And then I saw a video with Sting where he said that he locks himself out in the cold to finish a song. And I'm like, okay, that starts to make sense. Uh, and I'm starting writing more and more songs, and all of a sudden, the style starts to appear. And then I moved here, and I started playing around with very R&B gospel musicians, and then I joined.
Hmm.
I'm playing in an African American church every Sunday, and
Nice.
yeah, and that's such the talking about the vibe, the spirit, the Holy Ghost, the feeling, that energy, right? So I put the band together with them, and playing my songs, something very interesting with them coming from the gospel church R&B side of things, me coming with all this baggage, Romania classics, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and so on. And we that's how we created this album. So that's how everything came to be. Uh, this album. So I think it started. I mean, it started around 2023 when I really started writing songs, and here we are now.
How long did the album take for you to make?
Well, it took a year, and I'll tell you how. My producer, Tress Sasser, has called me a year before in October, in 2024 October, and said, "Look, I'd love to produce an album for you." I didn't even know exactly how that worked and what it mean. He was very clear to me, explain what we need, funds and so on. And we need songs first. We need songs, right? So send me what you have. So I sent him little demos that I had. And he was kind of one of the first persons to be like, "Well, this is actually really good." And I'm like, "Really?" And he did Piper in the Hard Times. He did that album before, like that year, and they won a blues award, and I think they were number one on the Billboard charts for the blues charts, and he did an amazing job with that. And I'm like, wow, well, coming from you, Trace, thank you so much. We started working a little bit, and first we said we're gonna do a blues record, but then as I was writing songs, it's like, man, this is going in many directions, and now it's a contemporary rock blues, something like that. So, it took a year because I was sending ideas, songs, and talking about just pre-production with him. And after a year, we came up with 11 songs, and we're like, okay, these are very good. We love them. Uh, and does it make you feel good? Yes. Okay, then it's cool. So then 2 months into before we started doing the recording the album, me and my band rehearsed for 2 months. Like every Tuesday, we're getting together and playing the songs and just like coming with ideas, taking stuff out, putting stuff in. And then Trace flew down to Orlando because we recorded here. And in a week, we were done with the album.
Wow.
So,
Very
yeah.
good. Very
Like
good.
but you know why? Because my band has they did something funny where they didn't realize the time, and my drummer and bass player got a gig the day we started the album, or a gig one day after we started the album. So we were pushed to get the drums and the bass done in one day. So that was like I don't know,
Wow.
14-hour day. We got 12 songs done. And then I mean, this album was a lot of it was a lot of things, like to the point where I'm like, can I get the guitar tone right? A lot of things happened. Anyway, we had it. Like we have it now, but it was not easy. But I think that's what it's a fun memory. If everything went perfect, I would have nothing to talk about. So that's
That boy, that's the truth. what
yeah.
what was the biggest surprise putting that album together for you?
The My biggest surprise, uh I everything surprised me. My biggest surprise was like how powerful my manifestation something is, because like I think 2 or 3 weeks before, and also Randy, just so you know, my publicist. I'm gonna make a cut here, but I'm gonna have to jump at some point because my publicist is putting a lot of things today for me. But just to answer your question, my my surprise was like I was thinking just 2 weeks before the album started. I'm like, I wonder what would happen if you get a whole team of people to do a record for you as an artist and then you get sick. And that's exactly what happened. The second day I
Oh
couldn't
no.
talk. Oh my God, I got so sick. It was but I think what surprised me is that uh, uh like I keep pushing through it, and how powerful prayers are, to be honest, because
Hmm.
it really happened in the end. Like I was able to sing somehow, and I got the album done. But it was uh it was a crazy process. Probably the longest week of my life so far.
I know you got to run, but I got to ask you, where was that picture taken out on the album cover?
So that picture was taken here in Florida. We have, but not the
Really?
whole thing. Well, I mean, we're
Okay.
not in the desert. We have some spots that are very deserty like. So, and with a little bit of a magic touch.
Okay. There you
Here it
go.
is.
I see. There
Yeah.
you go. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
So
So
quickly, what's next for you? Are you going to be touring? Are we going to be able to catch you on the road anywhere? What's going to happen next?
well, next, so the album is coming out on May 15, and we're working on getting an USA tour together. And so that's what's next. We got to get out and meet people and play, and I'd love to meet you in person. So
Likewise.
yeah, when we come with the band, and
Hmm.
that's what we're working on, getting that tour going, so we can come and share our music with the people. So
There you go. Well, man, I'm going to
yeah,
watch your itinerary, and hopefully another press release will go out to announce it to trigger my memory. But I want to definitely meet you, and I've only heard the one song so far, but I love what I hear. I can't wait to hear the rest of it. And Alex, I'm going to be a lifelong fan, literally from your first album on. So we'll do more of these in the future. And if I don't contact you first, you contact me and let me know
I
what you got
will.
going on that I can help get the word out. Okay.
Thank you so much, Randy. I appreciate you.
Well, listen, stay healthy,
Thank
and we'll see you soon. Okay.
you too. Take care. All the
Okay.
best to you. Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir. Take care. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Bye bye.
This has been another fun-filled episode of Boomerocity with your host and producer, Randy Patterson. The theme song for Boomerocity is Roll the Dice and is recorded and used by permission from Quentin Hope. Quentin is spelled Quinten, and Hope is Hop as in Paul, E. And you can find out more about Quentin Hope and his music at quintenhope.com. Post-production is done by Cardinal Sins Productions. The Boomerocity name, logo, and content is copyright protected. Segments may only be used with written permission by Boomerocity and or its assignees. Inquiries should be directed to input@boomerocity.com. Copyright 2020.